Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Amanda from Hookemcreations, and I am so glad you're here. This is the last episode part of this series, and I'm sure you all are wondering, did I finish the puff blanket? And the answer is yes, I did finish it. I did finish it, and my kids are loving it. They've been playing on it. My dogs have been cuddling with it. Has animal hair all over it already. It's great. I will say it is heavy. It is very heavy, but it's still comfy. It's great. My kids love it. I think over time it will soften up a little bit because it seems very stiff right now. But over time, I think it will it will loosen up and it'll be fine. It's all good. So, like I said in the last video, if you want me to do a video tutorial on how to make a puff blanket using your circular knitting machine, let me know in the comments below, or go back to that video, which was last week's video, and leave a comment there as well. So, getting that out of the way. Now the moment that everyone's probably waiting for. How much did I spend? How much would I charge this blanket for, etc.? And probably also how much time did I actually spend making this blanket? Well, like I said in the beginning of this mini series, if you need a refresher, I suggest you go back and rewatch it. But I said in the very beginning I was going to use an app called Crochetland. Now, I don't know if it's still available for the newer iPhones and such like that. It still is working on my iPad, so I decided to use it. But be sure to check and see if it still works in the Apple Store or Google or whatever Android has. So I suggest that you go check out to see if it is available for your device. So let's get started. Right away, I spent 45 hours, just over 45 hours making this blanket. And it's not bad, actually, considering that most blankets can be, if we were going to say for easy blankets, that you're looking anywhere from 40 to 60 hours for easy, simple, basic blankets. But once you get into much larger, this is a lapgan, so 45 hours is not bad for a lapgan. So now we are going to get into the supplies. This is where things start breaking down a little bit, and we'll get to the money part here in just a second, but I just want to explain the differences between durables and consumables. Durables is your tools. Think of them as your tools. These are items that you buy so you can make the product. So your crochet hooks, the circular knitting machines or knitting needles, yarn needles, scissors, etc. That's where your durables go into. That would be considered your durables as far as pricing things out. Then you have consumables. Your yarn, your fiber fill, the safety eyes if you're making amigurumis, or the felt eyes, etc. So anything that comes into your shop, into your store, you use to make an item and then you sell it. Those are considered consumables. So they come in, you make the product, you make the item, and then they go out and you sell it. Those are consumables. So this app does an excellent job of breaking down what are durables and what are consumables. Now, let's get to the money part. And I will explain things a little bit here. So they break it up into categories. Now, before I start, let me explain how I am pricing things. I'm going to go back to my profile here. And right here already, you can see I am using US dollars because I live in the United States. And I'm from Indiana, where the minimum wage for Indiana, who is a non-federal worker, is $7.25. It's been that way. It's still that way. It hasn't changed. So my hourly rate would be $7.25. Now, I'm a military spouse. I'm living in Washington State, which is like $15 plus. Could I mark it up to $15 plus because I live in Washington State? Yes. However, it's a crafting, for crafting purposes, I figured $7.25 was a pretty nice medium between a waitress's wage, which is $2.13 an hour, and then the highest is anywhere from like $15 to $20 an hour. So $7.25 is kind of that nice medium for pricing things out. Now, you can price it any way you want. This is how it's broken down in this app, and I'm using these numbers for this reason. Now, if you look down below the hourly rate, there's a section called the markup index. So this is really nice. What the markup index is that it's an extra charge. It's an extra percentage on top of your hourly rate, your consumables. So it's a markup from your hourly rate. So right now I have it as direct sales. They have suggestions down here. You can mark up how you want. So they have a markup of 1.4. So they'll times your hourly rate fee, the money you would make for your hourly wages, and they would mark that up. So 1.4, so for direct sales. If I'm doing platforms and shops, I can make it as 1.6. And you know what? Let's go ahead and make it 1.6 for the heck of it. And if you're a metropolitan, then you mark it up to a 1.8. So now we're going to go back to this. And here we go. So if I were to sell this blanket, this is their suggested price. So the consumable supplies, we'll look at the middle column here for a sec. The consumable supplies is $184. That's the yarn and the polyfill. So the yarn, I used 22 different skeins of yarn, and I averaged the price to be $7. It can be, I think I was buying yarn anywhere from like, it was given to me for free to like $12. So $7 seemed pretty fair for this demonstration, for this example. And then the polyfill, I had to buy a brand new box of polyfill, which rounded out to be about $30. I went to Joann's, there was a sale, and then I'm also a military spouse, so I got to use my military discount on top of all of that. So it averaged to be about $30 for the 10-pound box of stuffing. Now, going back to that just the consumables, the yarn and this polyfill, was $184. Now, looking at the hours, I spent 45 hours and 17 minutes, and with the $7.25 an hour pay for $7.25 an hour for 45 hours brings out to be $328 and some change. So, putting the consumable price with the hourly rate, they're going to take that, they're going to do the 1.6 markup and add that onto it. And it is now $819.70. So, what would that markup price really go to? That markup is for your fees and possibly taxes. If you're at like a market or something, that would go towards your booth fees. That could go towards your website. That can go towards any bills that you have for the store. It pretty much goes into that kind of stuff, or your internet, things like that. And that's what they're trying to point at here, is that markup is meant to be like your fee buffer. So that 328, that is how much you make for making this product. And the 184, that's your supplies coming out of this. And then the whatever markup remains, that would be like for your taxes or your fees and such. Because if you have an online store, you have fees, you have credit card fees, you have to pay for your website, etc., your domain, all that stuff. So that's what all that is, if that makes any sense. Now, and then the last thing is like photos. I put some photos in there, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Obviously, I have used this app before several times, and it's a good. Now, I am one who doesn't like, would I charge $800 for the blanket? That's probably the bottom line. Like, would I really charge $800 or $700? I switched it back to the 1.4. Would I really charge $700 for this blanket? Now, I'm going to go back and change it again. I'm going to change it back to a waitress wage, which is $2.13 an hour. Okay. And that brings it down to less than $100, and they say you would need to charge basically $400 for this blanket. I would not charge $400 for that blanket. I feel like for that kind of a project that I probably, it's kind of hard. I probably would be charging about $500 or $600 for that blanket, honestly, for me personally. Y'all can think what you, as long as my supplies is covered and all my fees are covered, whatever's left, I'm okay with. But there's also one thing I didn't mention in this, is that when I was making this blanket, I had to go to the chiropractor. I was in so much pain because I was hovering over the blanket and it was so heavy that I had to go to the chiropractor, get readjusted, and that was $30. So that technically would be coming out of my hourly wage. So I don't know, maybe it would be closer to $650, to be honest with you, if I was going to sell this at a market or something like that. But it has dog hair all over it, and my kids have been playing on it, so it's not going anywhere. It's going to be in my house for the rest of its life. Now, I will say that there are people out there in the crochet and knitting community that whenever somebody asks how do they charge for their products, everyone says take the price of your materials and times it by 3. I don't necessarily always agree with that method. There are multiple ways of doing this, of charging for your products. You can do a percentage, you can do hourly rate, like I was showing here. You can do a flat fee, like, all right, I'm going to charge $300 for my cut. The rest of it is supplies. And then on top of that, you would put like a flat fee rate. That would be for your fees, either like credit card transaction or whatever you want to call it. So there are multiple ways of charging for your products. Now, I know starting out, I was one of those people, everybody goes through this as a crocheter and as a knitter. We don't understand the value of our work until you start to see the money of the materials coming through, or just trying to get your name out and you realize, I didn't charge enough for my stuff because I just covered 4 materials and there's nothing in the pockets for me. So what do? You learn. I remember when I first started out with this business, I was making amigurumis for $25. Like, that was my very first year. Like, the first 6 months of my business was $25. And then the new year came in and I upped it to like $35. And depending on the amigurumi that I am making, sometimes it still sticks around $35, depending on the size of the amigurumi, how much time I put into it. If I have the supplies already on hand, I don't need to go to the store to buy any of it, then I would just say, yeah, it's like $35, $40. I also have a friends and family rate because they are friends and they are very close friends and they are family. If they are distant, like they're not next door to me, I will give them free shipping. We will cover the shipping for them. They just charge me for my time for making the product. That's really it. And they're always understanding about that, and they actually want to support our business by doing this. So, some things to think about and to consider as you are crocheting or knitting. You're about to go do a market, or you're about to go do, or you're doing things for charity. Just understand that your time is valuable. And I hope this video gives you an insight of that. And don't worry, I have other projects coming up, and I will be sharing them here on YouTube. And don't you worry, I am going to be using this app, the Crochet Land, for my upcoming projects to express how much time goes into these projects and how much they are valued and how much you are valued as a crafter, as a creator, whether you're making something up on the spot or you're using somebody else's pattern. So I hope you take this as a learning opportunity. And you know what? I'm learning every single day too. I've had to learn how to charge for my products and realize how much I am worth. And you know what? I've had to teach my husband that, and he's the one that does all the woodworking for our shop. So it's always a learning curve. It's always a learning opportunity. And I hope you all take this and learn from it as I have. If you want to help us out with our channel, we do have a Buy Me a Coffee. The link is in the description below. But be sure to help us out and really get our names out by doing all the YouTube-y things, the like, subscribe, the write a comment about what you think about this mini series, if you want to see more of them, or if we need to do some changes. We would love your feedback in the comments below. Like I said, I was raised as a dancer. I have dance experience, so constructive criticism is part of my upbringing. So I am not afraid of constructive criticism whatsoever. So let me know in the comments below. And until next time, happy crafting.